River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I am Dan here along with James and Eric, pointed the opposite ways. Say hello, gentlemen. How we doing?
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, everyone?
Yes, and we are here to talk about WIldcard Weekend. We finally reached the playoffs. Cue that video of playoffs. Yeah, we're talking about playoffs now. It's appropriate to talk about playoffs. And everything in WIldcard Weekend is set. I can just run through them real quick for you guys. I had the picture of it right here. Don't have it for the screen, YouTubers, unfortunately. But in order of when they are going to be played, the Saturday 4 o'clock game is the Cleveland Browns at Houston Texans. The 8 o'clock primetime game is the Dolphins at the Chiefs. Then on Sunday, the triple header goes Steelers at Buffalo at 1 o'clock. Green Bay going to Dallas at 4:30. And then the Sunday primetime game is LA going to Detroit. And then to wrap it all up on Monday Night Football, it is the Philadelphia Eagles going to Tampa Bay to face the Bucks. We all presumably know how it goes for us in the Niners standpoint. We will just play the NFC team with the lowest seed. So Green Bay would automatically go to us should they upset Dallas. But otherwise, we just got to see how the rest of it plays out. So
And screw the NFL for making me stay up all the way till 11:30 at night to watch the Eagles lose. Like, screw them. Like, you couldn't put it on, like, Sunday afternoon, you know? Like, can I get a 1 o'clock? Just get it out of the way. Rip the Band-Aid off. Like, you had to do that to me. Like, I got work the next day. Like...
Well, maybe it'll just be a blowout and you can go to bed at halftime.
Yeah, maybe.
I was going to say...
So.
I was gonna say we'll probably you're cool with coming into the game probably in the second quarter, or what? You're gonna have the running score ticker while we tape next Monday.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know if I don't know. I don't even know if I really want to watch it. I'm probably gonna have to, but yeah, I'll probably have something on going while we tape next week to keep up with the score as we record. But
yeah. Like, honestly, it's kind of, I'm just throwing it back to the Niners standpoint. Like, it's kind of nice just getting to enjoy the football and kind of do some scouting. Like, I don't know. We don't really have a structure to this episode per se. We know we want to be done at like 25 minutes, but I don't know. I'm opening the floor to you guys. Like, what games intrigue you? What storylines intrigue you the most? I mean, I feel like I have opinions on all the more popular storylines or whatever. But yeah, no, you guys, what's intriguing you guys the most about WIldcard Weekend?
Well, definitely the Rams-Lions game. I think that's probably one of the more intriguing ones. You have Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff, two quarterbacks that were basically traded for each other, going to play each other in a home playoff game for the Lions. Like, I mean, this does it get any better than that? Like, does it, with like the drama and everything else, like, for a playoff game, the Lions trying to win their first playoff game since, 1991. They're having a home playoff game. And, Jared Goff on this resurgence with the Lions going against Matthew Stafford, the team that he requested a trade from to go to the Rams and won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Like, it's the stage is set for, like, I mean, you guys were thinking it like an epic shootout between these two guys, like Stafford and Goff just throwing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown against each other. And let's just hope that the referee hears the guy reporting. Just, I'm reporting.
I will keep an eye out for which referee team gets assigned to that game. That should be out by probably Wednesday or Thursday. I'll be out of state then, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye out which refs are going to be doing that game. But yeah, no, I agree. To me, if I had to pick one game, if I could only watch one game, that would be a terrible world to live in. But no, I would pick this game. Who wouldn't want to see this game where Jared Goff was cast to the side and said, "Have fun in no man's land in Detroit," and now He's hosting the team that shoved him to the side. How is this not the game? There's no way that this was not the game that he was praying for so he could stick it to Sean McVay. And I personally really hope that happens. Both of these defenses have really leaky secondaries. I'm excited for this game to be a huge shootout with Jared Goff giving Sean the middle finger at the end of it.
That would be really amazing if he just threw up the double fingers at the end of the game. It was like, ah, yeah, I beat you guys. Ah! That would be awesome. Who was the Seahawks? Was it Earl Thomas that gave the middle finger to the Seahawks sideline when he got hurt that one year?
Yeah, when he was a Raven. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. So I'm curious as to what the over on that game is. Oh, it's 51.5. That's pretty
51.5, dude.
Yeah.
51.5.
Over.
Like,
over.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on the. I would like the over that game too.
Yeah. I think I think you guys are right. I think that's the most appealing game from like a soap opera perspective. I think there's just a lot of drama, a lot of different aspects to that game with everybody coming back and all the intrigue and the trades and the quarterbacks and all that stuff. I think there's a lot to that. The other game that I'm really interested in that I think is going to be a really good game is the Cleveland and Texans game. I think that game has a lot of intrigue. I think those are two really interesting teams. If Deshaun Watson was playing, you'd have a similar bit of intrigue there in the sense because Watson would be coming back to Houston in that sense. I mean, he's probably going to be around, so I'm sure that they'll show him on camera at some point. But you know, I think Cleveland's a fascinating team in the playoffs this season. They've been on a real good run here these last few weeks since they picked up Flacco. He's really kind of sort of fleshed out their offense that wasn't really going anywhere earlier this season, and combined with that defense, I think they're kind of scary in the AFC. I feel unfortunate for them that they ended up drawing the Texans instead of the Jags or the Colts. I think the Texans are probably the worst draw that they could have gotten because the Texans are pretty decent. And shout out to D'Amico for having such a great season his first year as the Houston Texans coach. I mean, nobody thought that the Texans were going to be this good, let alone in the playoffs. But I think that that's a really interesting matchup, and it's a great game, I think, to kick off Wildcard Weekend. I think there's just a lot of intrigue with that and just a lot of real interesting aspects to just from a football perspective in that one.
Well, yeah.
The two front runners for coach of the year. Sorry, James, and sorry for the Lions coach. He's definitely not the front runner for coach of the year anymore. It's these two guys, and they're squaring up against each other. The only thing that I think works against Houston is that outside of Nico Collins, they got nothing. So that's going to be really hard for them against that Cleveland defense. And then, yeah, like you said, Joe Flacco just, I don't know what magic potion he took when he signed with them, but Jesus Christ, are we seeing a second a Flacco-sance? Like,
well, you know what? You know what's funny? If Joe Flacco wins, he jumps into the all-time lead for playoff road victories, one ahead of Tom Brady.
Really?
Right now, he is tied with Tom Brady with the most road playoff wins in a career for a quarterback. One more win.
Is that surprising, though, with how... I'm sorry, James. Sorry.
I'm just saying, one more win will supplant him as the best road playoff quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Well, Tom was always at home, so I mean, how high was that record? Like
7. It's 7. You know, it's 7 road games. You know, which is, you know, you got Eli Manning at 6. At 6 wins. Tom Brady at 7. And there's Joe Flacco at 7 road playoff wins.
Well, and the other interesting
that never made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. The other interesting aspect to that, too, is if the Browns do win, that very likely sets up a scenario where you have Ravens-Browns in the next round, and then you have that similar homecoming there with Flacco going back to play the Ravens that we're talking about with Stafford and the Lions and all of that stuff. So I think it sets up a real intriguing matchup. And, you know, just from I'll say that, you know, the football gods perspective, I would probably put a lot of money on the Browns to win this weekend and set up that whole Browns versus Ravens matchup. You've got the the Ravens used to be the Browns, and now the Browns have Flacco, who used to be the Ravens quarterback, and that whole intrigue there. I think that's just too juicy for the football gods to not let happen next week. So,
Yo, let's go. I am all for that.
It's too juicy for the football gods or the NFL writers.
Whichever. So
call
I think
call it an easy out, but I honestly think like we're going to talk about the parlay tomorrow or Friday, I should say. But yeah, no, I'll spoil my pick. I think Cleveland should handle Houston pretty easily. And yes, then assuming Pittsburgh loses, because Pittsburgh should. If we want to dissect that, how the hell did Pittsburgh get in here? But no, the world needs to have Baltimore and Cleveland in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think, but I think out of all of the games this coming weekend, I think those two, I think Los Angeles, Detroit, and I think Cleveland, Houston, I think are the two that are going to end up being the most. I think they're going to end up being the most fun to watch. I think they're going to be two of the better games that we see this weekend. I think Cleveland, Houston is going to be a bit of a defensive battle. I think Houston is going to try to play as good a defense as they can. We know Cleveland is going to bring a really good defense, and I think that game is going to be close and a bit of a back and forth battle the whole way. I think, James, you were hitting on some stuff earlier on about LA, Detroit. I think that's going to be a big shootout. Dan, you mentioned both their secondaries are just leaky. So I think that's going to be fun to watch from the perspective that I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. The rest of these games this weekend, I don't feel there's kind of as much intrigue. I think there's some potential for maybe some upsets, but I don't know that they're going to be that good of games, especially that Monday night one.
Yeah, I will say this: put all your money on the Bucks. Just put all your money on the Bucks, because if you're just like, oh, maybe the Eagles, you don't understand. I watch this team. I listen to reporters on this team. It's a sinking ship right now, and I don't think they can get it right in 1 week somehow to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. I really don't see it. They were supposed to beat the Giants this weekend, and that 24-0 by half was with most of their starters in against the Giants. Okay,
and you got Hurts and AJ Brown hurt.
Yeah, how hurt is AJ Brown?
It's supposed to be not that serious, according to everybody.
Because he looked real hurt when he was laying on the field.
Yeah, he looked hurt on that MetLife Stadium, but I mean, I don't know. I don't put all your money on Tampa. Just whatever it is. Over, take the points, bet the money line. Just do it. I bet the whole farm on Tampa, because I do not believe that the Eagles have anything in them this year to beat anybody in the playoffs. Even if they were playing the Packers too, I say pick the Packers. I just don't believe in them right now. I don't believe that they can beat any team.
Did you see that woman go viral that was at the game? And it was her with her hands up, and you could see and very faintly hear her go, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'll send that in the chat. That was just so funny.
She's probably a nun at the monastery too. That's how that's how Philly fans are.
Probably. I mean, I kind of have to agree with you, James. I mean, I don't like to crap on your team because I know you're a loved Eagles fan, but I mean, I haven't seen anything out of them over the last few weeks that makes me feel like they can do. I mean, Tampa's. I just sat through the Tampa Carolina game because I had a lot of money riding on that game. Tampa's not very good either, but I don't see, even if the Eagles were to get past Tampa somehow, they're dead in the next round. I don't care who they play in the next round. They got no shot of getting past whoever they play in the next round.
And the thing about it is, if they beat Tampa, it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. They're not going to go out and beat Tampa 40-10. No, that's not going to happen. If they beat Tampa, it's going to be because, I don't know, Tampa beat themselves. Tampa fumbled the ball. Tampa can't do anything. The defense
did a bunch of stuff to make the team win or something.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the Eagles defense couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed right now. It's just horrible. And the problem, people have been saying it's the talent. I don't think it's the talent. I think they have plenty of talent on that defensive side, minus, I don't know, James Bradbury at corner. Slay has been hurt. Those two guys, but they have plenty of talent there. It's just a lot of young talent, and they don't have a lot of experience. So I don't see them just finally figuring it out and creating all these turnovers, because our defense was one of the worst at creating turnovers this year. So yeah, the last turnover that the Eagles got was basically because the Cardinals receiver didn't run the right route, and Kyler Murray just threw an air ball that Sidney Brown just got right under. It was easy peasy. No contested ball, no, so yeah, I that was the last turnover they had, and that's how easy it was. They basically, the Cardinals handed them the ball, and unless they're not good at forcing turnovers, so I just don't see, them winning that game. I think everybody who has a decent brain will put all their money on Tampa.
Yeah, it's not a good matchup for them too, in the sense that if they can keep Baker clean, Tampa has good receivers. Evans is good. Godwin is good. That tight end that they have, Otten, is pretty decent. So I mean, like, they're going to be able to sort of pick your team apart, which you just said is the secondary is kind of the weakest part of that Eagles defense. Tampa could put up some points and do some damage against that secondary. So I don't know. I mean, if I was going to pick an upset, I'm pretty sure that Tampa is getting points in that game. I would certainly lean towards picking Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tampa's the favorite.
Tampa. Yeah. What's that?
Or no, sorry, Philly was the favorite. My mistake.
Philly's
they're the favorite still,
game.
right?
Philly's that favorert. Yeah. Philly's a favorite.
They shouldn't
wait
be.
till you see the parlay on Friday, because So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Money should be bet on Tampa, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. So yeah.
I got nothing to add to that. You guys have covered exactly. Like, my sentiments are the exact same. I do feel bad for you, because that really does suck. What's going to be harder to watch though, and it sounds backhanded me saying that, but just it's what it is. What's going to be harder to watch though, that game or Miami versus Kansas City? Because if I could miss one game, I don't know what I saw out of Miami last night and what we've seen out of Kansas City all year. You want to talk about an ugly effing game coming up? Miami, Kansas City is probably going to be an ugly game, and the opposite of what we got in Germany a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Miami's just got two more guys hurt, and they lost another guy in the middle of the game. So they have basically like no linebackers now. So I don't know how they're going to cover Kelsey in that game. You don't have to cover the rest of the Kansas City receivers because they can't catch the ball either. But I don't know how Miami is going to score, and it's going to be cold in Kansas City. I just don't know how Miami.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be like 7.
Yeah, I don't know
Miami
how
in cold weather.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So I don't know how Miami is going to pull off anything in that game. That would certainly be a very big upset if they went into Kansas City and stole that game away. I think that game will be. I don't want to say like close, but I think it'll be kind of one of those things where like the Chiefs kind of have like a comfortable sort of like a 10 or a 13 point lead like the entire game. And like you kind of keep thinking like, oh, is this where the Dolphins are going to make their move? And then, they screw up, or, the Chiefs make a defensive play, because the Chiefs defense is good this year. The Chiefs defense is real good. So I think it'll just be kind of one of those things where like the Dolphins sort of like hang around, because it's not, the Chiefs are not the blow them out kind of team that they used to be. So I think the Dolphins will sort of linger and kind of keep it interesting, but I think the Chiefs will kind of run away with that game and be in control the whole time.
I don't know. Stephen Ross is the owner of the Miami Dolphins, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, Stephen Ross likes to
one of many owners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stephen Ross likes to write checks, and he should write a big check to Taylor Swift to just not show up to the game. And like if he's really smart,
to
like,
neutralize Travis Kelce.
yeah, because I don't think their linebackers are. So their best chance of winning is for Stephen Ross to write a check to Taylor Swift to not show up. How many zeros do you want, Taylor? How many zeros do you want behind this one?
That's great. I love it.
For real though, that might be the only thing that Miami can do to stop him. Like that team is so battered with injuries. Are we upset that it's only on Peacock? I feel like that's worth asking. Just a yes or no. Like it is a Peacock only game. I'm a streaming nerd. I pay for Peacock so I can watch it, but I don't know. Are we mad in principle that it's only on Peacock?
I could care less. I have Peacock. It's $5. I mean, like, who cares? Like, if you're
but you gotta understand. I have an 85-year-old dad who still has cable and a smart TV. And when I went over there because the Phillies game was going to be on Apple Plus, and I told him I have Apple Plus so we can watch it. He's like, we can watch it on the TV. I was like, yeah, you got a smart TV? Yeah. So I get there, and I was like, Dad, where's the remote control for the TV? Oh, you have it. And I'm like, Dad, this is the cable remote. This is for your box.
Yeah, that's it.
On and off the TV. I get it, Dad. That's because they programmed it that way, but you have a remote control for your TV. Oh, I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
So my dad's just not going to watch that game. Like he's going to be confused as to why he can't watch that game. So yeah, I want
to know how businesses have been handling that. I don't go out to bars or watch games out like that anymore, or very, very seldomly. I'm very curious, like, especially like, did any of you guys go out while YouTube TV has been the Sunday night? Like, I don't know how they handle it, like with it being streaming.
DirecTV still owned the streaming rights for like restaurants and bars.
Do they?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Not that
Yeah.
I don't own a bar, so I didn't follow up on that. But no, okay. So maybe there must be some loophole then for them to do it at bars and stuff. Okay. Well, no, okay. That's good to know that at least we don't care that it's on Peacock versus the older demographic.
Yeah. I mean, James, you make a good point. I mean, my mom's 80. Like, she probably, I don't know if I set her up with Peacock or not. I think she has an account, so maybe she'll be able to watch it. Maybe she won't. But I mean, like, she'll just be like, okay, well, sucks, and she'll just move on with life. She'll watch CNN instead.
My dad
shout out, Mom.
My dad will literally go through all 1,000 channels that he has. Just, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. It's not there. Not there. Like, that'll be my dad when that game is supposed to be on. And he'll be like, what channel is the game on? And I'll tell him it's
my
on
mom
Peacock.
My mom doesn't care for the Chiefs, so I don't think I'll have to remind her how Peacock works. But I remember like a couple weeks in a row, oh, hey, do you have the game on? Oh, no, your dad and I have something else on. It's on ESPN, right? And I'm like, no, Mom, it's on Amazon. Oh, yes, Mom, the blue app with the smile on it, that's where the football game is. Okay, I think it's going to be the big banner ad. It's going to ask you to touch that first. Just go in there and it'll work just fine. And then they would get into it. But like 3 weeks in a row, no, Mom, Thursday Night Football's on Amazon. Just, again, the blue app with the smiley face. Like,
yeah. My mom, avid viewer of the podcast, she will try to watch the game. But if not, she will watch CNN. That's not a lie, Mom. I'm not throwing you under the bus. You love your CNN. So
keep
I'm
up on public. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Pittsburgh Buffalo game too. I'm just curious to see how that game starts, because I'm like confused by the Pittsburgh Steelers because they're not good, but yet here they are in the playoffs. And so like I'm curious to see, do they have some sort of like magical magic that's gonna like help them sort of like slay the Buffalo Bills? Like I'm envisioning that game is going to turn out. What was it they got into the playoffs like 1 or 2 seasons ago and got slaughtered by the Kansas City Chiefs like 44-7 in like the opening round of the playoffs?
That was the Browns.
Oh, okay. Well,
the Steelers got a home game against the Browns and lost like 44-7.
Yeah, so like I'm envisioning that's the way that this game is gonna go, but like I'm at least curious to turn it on and be like, well, let me see what happens. And then when the Bills are up 21-0 in the first quarter, I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that much interest in that game either. Not, I'd rather watch that than the Kansas City game, but no, I'm fascinated by them. I don't have much more to add to it than that, but I just every single year, I don't know how Mike Tomlin does it, but I mean, maybe with Mason Rudolph he'll be competitive. Maybe the Bills will turn back into a pumpkin, but they've won 5 in a row since their bye week. Like they've figured it out. In theory, they figured it out, and I mean, I would say on paper they should kick the crap out of the Steelers anyway, because rubber meets the road. The Steelers are gonna choke probably. That's my bet. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much interest in that game either.
Yeah. Do you guys think the Packers can upset the Cowboys?
Yeah.
No,
because it's the Cowboys, but it's
No.
also the Cowboys at home. It's also
Yeah.
the Cowboys at home, but we all know how the Cowboys play in the playoffs. Like they could be 8-0 at home, and then the next thing you know, somebody comes in, they get all cocky, and somebody comes in like the Packers or the 49ers a couple of years ago. Just
maybe
puts them in
they
their
end up
place.
not cover. Maybe they end up only winning by like 3 points, but no, I don't envision that happening. I really think that they're going to handle Green Bay, but it's not going to be a 41-14 blowout. I think it'll be a very well handled like 31-17 or 31-21. Like it'll look closer than it is. I don't think Dallas will ever not be in control of the game. That's what I'm trying to say.
So very similar to like the Chiefs Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting.
It's impossible. You can't bet against Dallas at home the way that they've been playing. And like there's such an inferior difference between Green Bay and Dallas. That's the only thing. Like if they get to the divisional round and they are hosting Detroit again, I think the exact same thing is going to happen again. It's going to be decided by less than 7 points. Like when they're faced with talent, it's harder, but they still win at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, I guess I was kind of looking at that as a hopeful upset to see if something would shake out on Wildcard Weekend. But what do you guys see any upsets? I mean, well, I guess we'll talk about that. I mean, not so much in the parlay episode. I mean, we're going to talk about what we're gonna bet
definitely
or whatever,
Bucks over Eagles. Bucks over Eagles. Like if
we're
gonna be
talking
an upset,
strictly what the money says, yeah, it's the Buccaneers being the upset.
Buccaneers.
Yeah. What about from a seed perspective? Do you see the seeds? I mean, I see the Browns beating the Texans, right? You guys are in on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be a
would
seed
in on
upset.
that. I would see it up as an upset, but I don't think it would be like a surprise to anybody. I still think the league, and obviously Vegas will be surprised if Tampa can beat the Eagles. I wouldn't be surprised. And a lot of Eagles fans I think a lot of Eagles fans are in the same boat. They wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles lost this game. But I think the NFL is just so fascinated about the fact that the Eagles just have all this talent. Like they should be able to, squeak out a win against Tampa. And I don't know if that's going to happen, So
the only other like upset, I don't know money wise where it is or not, but like I don't know. We talked about it in the group chat about like how apprehensive I am about doing just a straight money line on the Rams and the Lions. Like, because really, yes, I want Jared Goff to win, but if we're talking about a seeding upset, that could very well be a seeding upset too, because the Rams are not a bad team. So that would be my second choice, if not the Cleveland game being like the lock seed upset.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see the Rams beating the Lions as well. I think that's definitely a possibility. So yeah, that could be really interesting. I mean, that would set up. I mean, that would be really intriguing because that would set up Niners versus Rams then in the next round, and then Tampa Bay, Dallas in the next round. So
yeah, I mean, you said it before too. The Rams are actually a sneaky good team, and yeah, like what I said, I want Jared Goff to win, but no, that is going to be a very competitive game, and that's why I didn't want to go on the money line on it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Well, I think regardless of all that, I think it's at least going to be for me not having a vested interest in any of the games. I think it's going to be a
Other
very
than what you're going to
fun.
gamble on.
Well, yeah. What? Me? Gamble? James, how dare you?
Easy E, the degenerate gambler.
I think it's going to be a really interesting and exciting weekend of football. I think we're probably going to get at least one really good game on Saturday with the Cleveland and Texans game. I think we're going to get a really good game on Sunday with the Rams and the Lions. And then I think that Philly Tampa game, I think, is not going to work out in James' favor probably, but I think it's at least going to be an interesting game because I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other. So I think it's going to be kind of a bit of a slog, but I think it will at least be a close game that, you know, if you have a rooting interest in one or the other, I think, or maybe you had a little bit of money on the line in one of them, I think it'll be intriguing in that way.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. I have been telling you for weeks. Take the team with the points. Take this team with the Eagles. Take the points.
You have been.
Take the points. Take the points. Take the points because they are really sucking it, and so they just haven't been the same. And you know, since that 49ers lost, it's just and they got beat so bad, like that just killed them for the season, and they just couldn't bounce back. And you know, that one win against the Giants is basically, you know, they almost gave that game away. They were lucky to even get out without a win. So, you know, of all the playoff teams that, you know, sort of squeaked into the playoffs, like the Eagles are definitely one of the ones that, you know, if they would have started out the season this way, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. I should say that.
You make an excellent point, James. I mean, the Eagles were very fortunate that they had won so many games early on because they were like 10-1 or 11-1.
They were 10-1 at one point.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were very fortunate to be 10-1 because they cratered. I mean, we didn't get a chance to really talk about it. Let's use the Jacksonville Jaguars as an example, right? They were sitting at 8-3. They were playing for the number 1 seed in the AFC at one point in time. And now they're not even in the playoffs because they cratered off at 1-5. You know, for the rest of or 1-6 or whatever it was, for the rest of the season. Eagles did the exact same thing. They were just lucky enough that they had a big enough of a cushion that they didn't fall on out because they were right there with a couple NFC teams chasing them in like the Seahawks and the Saints that could have, you know, one more loss. If we'd had one more week of real football, they might have been in trouble and not even made the playoffs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. And they are the first team to ever start out 10-1 and not make it to 12 wins. Like,
oh, really?
And they had an extra week of the season to do that.
That's true. Wow. I didn't know
think
that.
how bad that is. They
Yeah.
had, like, you figure all the teams that have gotten to 10-1 throughout the history of the NFL and didn't get the 12 wins, most of them had a shorter week because we've only had week 18 for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So they actually had an extra week to try and get to 12 wins, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. No, I wanted to. We do need to wrap up this episode, but I did want to. I didn't make a graphic or anything, but I did want to give the Jaguars a throwing up on themselves award for like a year-end award, just because I listened to that game. I was I was driving back here on Sunday, so I couldn't watch the game, but I was listening to the play call. And as I pulled up to my house, I heard the Tennessee. I'm glad I had Tennessee's call instead of Jacksonville's call. I heard Tennessee's guy, who's got a great voice, go, and it's complete Titans win. And I heard him flip out, like, and that's when I texted you guys. I was like, Jaguars collapse complete, like the epitome of throwing up all over yourselves. It's Jacksonville. They didn't even have a shot at a wild card, and that's just, I don't know. That's kind of not glorious. That's such a terrible way to end their year. I'll take a little bit of credit. I think we broke them a little bit, but yeah, no, that was just, I don't know. That's fascinating to me. That was the most fascinating story to come out of it, was Jacksonville falling apart. But no, guys, we need to wrap up this one to tease now a little bit. We got a parlay episode actually coming out next week. Pinky promise we actually are doing a parlay one this week. So yeah, with that, we need to talk about our sponsor, RoyalRetros.com. What is RoyalRetros.com? That is your go-to place to get an authentic throwback jersey. not just football. They cover all the major sports, basketball, baseball, and football, of course. You name it, they got it. Go ahead and check out their Candlestick collection. It is a curated collection of Bay Area sports, Niners. I saw some Giants gear in there. When you find something that you like, use the promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your entire order. Again, it is a promo code Shady Sports when you check out, and you'll get 10% off of your entire order. It supports the channel. It supports us. Go ahead and check them out and find something nice and get 10% off with Shady Sports. It's royalretros.com. Again, go to royalretros.com and get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, let the people know about our charity.
So, guys, before the season started, there was some news about some owners. The Houston Texans minority owner got charged with very serious sexual crimes in Kentucky. And the COO of the 49ers has been implicated in an insider trading scandal from a company that was helping kids cheat during the pandemic. So the reason why this bothers us is because if this had been a player, we would have known about it right away. But in the case of Jed York, it was a couple of years. And then in the case of the Houston Texans mine owner, it was a couple of months, I think it was like 3 or 4 months when independent reporting agencies reported the story. So the NFL has said that owner standards are supposed to be greater than player standards. But with these cases, as you can see, if it would have been a player, we would have known the day that the charges were put on that player. So we are actually starting the hashtag that owner standards are less than player standards, hashtag owner accountability. And to show you we put our money where our mouth is, we are selling shirts for charity. All the proceeds go to charity. This one is our statement. Owner standards are less than player standards, hashtag owner accountability. Like all our t-shirts, this starts at $22.99, and you can get this in different colors and different styles, and also different sizes as well. Our next shirt is our owner standoff shirt. This is the one we had for the Dan Snyder campaign, but we have brought it back for this campaign. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt, and you can get it in different styles and different sizes as well. Next is our Niner Nuts podcast logo art. You'll find this wherever you watch us or wherever you listen to us. This will be the profile art that you see on there. $22.99 get you that on the t-shirt, or we have different styles and different sizes for that as well. Next, we have our alternate logo shirt. I have this shirt, nice quality. You can get this in different colors, different styles. $22.99 get you that in a t-shirt. And finally, we have our own mascot, a peanut eating peanuts while sitting on the couch rooting for San Francisco 49ers. Get one of those t-shirts. All the proceeds go to charity. You can look in the show notes to see where you can click on that link to get them. Or if you don't want to do that, just Google Niner Nuts Apparel, bonfire.com, and it's the first one that actually shows up. Donate to a charity, to a Kentucky Crisis Center today.
Yeah, guys, we don't want any money from these shirts. We just want you to have a cool shirt while helping out a family in need. The only thing that I want to talk about to wrap up the episode, we are taping on Black Monday, but I don't want to talk really about the coaches. All the coaches that should have been fired have been, except for Dennis Allen.
What about Bill Belichick?
Belichick, we're on Belichick watch. He has not yet resigned or been fired. Trust me, I would have interrupted the taping if that popped up. But I did want to shout out just real quick. We had a league-leading 9 players make it to the Pro Bowl, and we had 12 alternates, which I believe is also leading the league. But alternates are, with the way that it's set up now, cool, you're an alternate. But the 9 players that did make it as starters: Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Tarvarius Mooney-Ward. I still care about the Pro Bowl. You guys balled out this year. Hopefully we can get a ring on top of the Pro Bowl accolades as well. Just, we didn't tape on Friday. I would have shouted you guys out then. But yeah, just amazing year. Amazing that we have that many people in the Pro Bowl representing the Niners. And yeah, just wanted to end the episode with a little shout out to them. So anything else, guys, before we head out?
No, just see y'all later and talk to you on the next episode.
Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Enjoy the bye week, guys. We will catch you on Friday.
River Road, You got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road,